Today I'm making brioche buns that, thanks to timing, also happen to be hot cross buns. As you can see, they're incredibly soft, they're buttery, yet still have that bit of texture that I like. I noticed that quite a few people joined me here recently, so just as a quick reminder of what's going on here, it's basically I bake, I film, and I share my experience with you. So this is basically my baking diary. Most of the time I pull recipes from my huge cookbook collection, and if something goes wrong or the flavor isn't quite to my taste, I just tweak the recipe until I get the result I want. So yeah, sometimes you'll see me make mistakes, then I fix them, and that's okay, nobody's perfect. This time, I'm trying the recipe from Thomas Keller's Bouchon Bakery book. They use the same brioche dough for all sorts of bakes, so while I'm turning it into hot cross buns today, you could just as easily transform it into a classic brioche loaf, a tart trapezienne, anything you like, really. Let's start with ingredients. 375 grams all-purpose flour, 8 grams instant yeast, 45 grams sugar, 9 grams salt, 205 grams eggs. So this is about 4 large eggs, and the book calls for 186 grams, which is about 3.5, but I've added whole 4 eggs, which worked well with my strong unbleached flour. 65 grams milk, and 170 grams unsalted butter. Please check the description for the full list of ingredients and make sure they all are as cold as possible. Just leave the butter on the countertop until it's time to add it. It will become soft enough by then. I'm using a stand mixer because frankly, kneading brioche by hand is really tough. First, dump the flour and yeast into the bowl and give them 10-15 seconds on low just to distribute the yeast. Then add everything else except the butter. Mix on low for a couple of minutes just to bring it together, and then increase the speed a little bit and let it knead for at least 30 minutes. It'll start out sticky, messy, but just be patient. The dough will eventually pull away from the sides and clean the bowl. It's really important to keep an eye on temperature. If your dough climbs past about 26-27 C, then gluten starts actually breaking down instead of forming. I pause the mixer whenever it gets warm and pop the whole bowl into the fridge for maybe 10-15 minutes to chill. Once the dough looks smooth and shiny, I like to finish the kneading by hand for just a few minutes. It's time to add the butter, which should reach cool room temperature by now. Add the butter piece by piece, waiting for each chunk to disappear before you drop in the next. If the dough starts heating up, chill it for 10-15 minutes because we don't want the butter melting or fermentation starting early. When it passes the window pane test, meaning you can stretch a little flap thin enough to see light through it without tearing, you're good. The dough should be glossy, soft, almost fluid, but not greasy. Time to fold in the fruit. Here I've got about 185 grams of mixed raisins that I soaked in rum overnight. I know it's non-traditional, but still delicious. Lightly flour the bench, stretch the dough out, scatter the fruit over, fold it up like an envelope, and give it a very gentle knead just until the raisins are evenly distributed. It will feel tacky at first, but try not to add much extra flour, just a dusting if it's completely unmanageable. Drop the dough in a lightly oiled bowl, cover it, and let it proof for about 45 to 60 minutes. It will become a little bit puffier, but still not double in size. After that, do one set of stretch and folds, round it up again, and proof for another 45 to 60 minutes. Now you want it puffy and almost doubled. Next, grease a 9 by 13 inch pan. Divide the dough into 12 equal portions. I usually use the scale for this purpose, but that day my brain stopped working and suddenly lost all math skills, so I ended up with about 10 oversized buns. I had to cut a few to make 12, which is not ideal, but still fine. For each piece, flatten it slightly, fold the edges into the center, flip it seam side down, and roll it under your cupped hand, tucking the bottom in to build some surface tension. If a raisin pops through the top, just pluck it out, hide it underneath. Nestle the balls into the pan, cover loosely with some plastic wrap so that it doesn't touch the dough, and let them proof until very puffy and doubled. My house is cool, so I set the pan in the switched off oven with a tray of hot water for some gentle warmth. Finally, it's baking time. Heat the oven to 180°C or 350°F. Beat 1 egg for the egg wash, no milk this time, just as the book suggests, and brush it over the tops. Bake for about 25 to 30 minutes until the buns are deep golden brown and the center should read at least 93°C if you probe it. So while the buns cool, let's mix the icing for the crosses. This version pipes icing instead of using a dough paste. Whisk together 260 grams of icing sugar, 40 grams of milk, and 1 gram each of ground cardamom and cinnamon until it's just smooth. The icing should flow easily, but hold its line. Wait until the buns are just warm because if you pipe too soon, the crosses can melt, which kind of happened in my case because I was late for an event and couldn't wait any longer. And now, finally, it's time to eat. I personally love brioche and this recipe doesn't disappoint. Everything I've baked from Bouchon Bakery book so far has worked beautifully. Their gram-by-gram precision and detailed explanations are great. As for the buns, you can see how soft they are and how easily the crumb tears apart. Yes, the process is a bit involved, like with any brioche, but it's absolutely worth the effort and you can shape this dough into anything you like. I'm really happy with today's bake and will definitely make these again. Thank you for watching and please subscribe so you don't miss the next video.